I'm that girl who has heard a rumor that someone hates you, really hates you. Whatever could you have done? So take a moment and think, what did you do? What did you do for them to hate you? This is a really important one to look at, as weird as this may sound, so bear with me. This is a really helpful tool for you to explore. So, not focusing on who said what, but focusing on what they said. What did you do? Did you do something to an animal or a human or an event that could cause someone to talk about you and say that they hated you, or even just thought about it, right? So pause this video now, and for you to really feel into it and really feel that someone's sending you some hate, and figure out what it is and why, right? And then when you feel that pit in your stomach and that potential guilt because maybe you've done something, blah, 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 explore it and see what you come up with. What is that thing that you've done that someone could hate you for? And then note that down, and then go and find another one, another person, another situation where you may not have been your best joy, and explore that and really look at it. We've all been potentially short with people, bullies, we've cut people off on the roads, blah, 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 blah. Really take this seriously and explore when there was a situation where someone got so hurt, now they're using words of hate about you. So pause it and explore it and just sit with it for a bit and see where there is moments in your time where you weren't so fantastic, and come back to this video at this point now and listen to the rest, because this is important for you to be able to do some inner healing, some inner work. And while we don't want to think about these negative things or these things that we are responsible for or whatever, this is a great time to do it. You don't have to feel the events, but you just have to remember why someone would say that they hate you. Just explore it and see it. And so I'll be waiting. All right. Did you do it? Oh, it's interesting, isn't it? Very interesting. Well, first of all, who gives a F what other people think about us? Because we're on our own focus, we're on our own journey, and we can't be distracted with other people's opinions, right? So there's that. But who went into the, oh my gosh, it was X, Y, and Z, and oh, I'm so embarrassed about this, that had to have been it? Or who actually went, well, they must just hate me because I'm happy. They must just hate me because I'm just such a joy of sunshine. Explore it. Where did your mind go? Into guilt and just like, oh shit, she's talking about that time. Really feel into it. And when you sort of don't know why someone hates you, then you start thinking quickly about all the fun things you've done in your life and sort of hold yourself accountable. And it's amazing when we're trying to think back of all our relationships, all our school years, all our jobs, all this sort of stuff. We may not be everyone's favorite. And there's a purpose and reason for that, right? We're clashing together to grow and expand and, explore each other's experiences together and, learn with experiences. So fantastic times. So if you really want to figure out what you're still holding on your consciousness that you may not have forgiven yourself and forgiven others for that experience, whatever you did, really think and feel, why would that person hate me? Now I'm really worried. Because no one likes to feel that they're hated, right? Like, we all try to do our best, but in all sincerity, we probably have, especially when we were in fear, especially when we were doing a whole lot of stuff, we weren't being mature, we weren't being responsible, and we, maybe drunk or whatever to sort of excuse our behaviors, but we've done something that has put people totally off us. And, that's fine. Maybe they needed to experience it to be removed from our lives, or something. But my point is today, I know this is so random, but this is a really good way to feel into what if someone did have a negative thought about me? Are we going to be like, cool, love and light to them, that's all fine. They can think and feel anything that they want, because that's their free will. And I'm not going to be even distracted with that, because when you're focusing on someone that hates, so heavy. So here you are trying to like understand what it takes for them and why they have hatred in their lives, and why they're still holding on to something that happened 27 years ago, blah, 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 blah. When we explore what other people are thinking and why other people are thinking, it's just draining, because we're in that same density. So when we are thinking about people who hate others, we're matching that frequency. You just can explore someone who's got a really negative mindset versus someone who's really positive. And then, there is still people that can be really positive, but they've still got some big triggers. We know lots of people get super triggered about the crimes against humanity and all that sort of stuff. Great people, but super fixated, focused on really, really dark, dense stuff. And they will be all fine and all good, and then they will remember the crimes, and it will just bottom out their frequency. And those people, and it's not just about the crimes, it's about, inflation right now, and petrol prices and all that sort of stuff. If we're really raging and feeling angry, it's never going to change anything, right? So our attitudes and behaviors really doesn't change systems. Our own individual attitudes and behaviors. We can manifest to the cows come home about the prices of petrol dropping, but for this to be part of the grand awakening, prices need to go high, unfortunately, for all, right? So there is a purpose and significance for everything that is happening, including, all the things that we're struggling with right now. So, this is fun times as we are seeing the grand awakening unfolding in every single area. And, you want to get someone's attention, you start taking their money away. You start charging them extra money. It's becomes very, very sacred quite quickly when people have to worry about money and finances and all that sort of stuff. And I guess that's the reason why so many people have been distracted with the NESARA and GESARA gig, because that seems to be their one and only way out of this, because they can't imagine that people are suddenly going to change systems positively, organically, to be able to be beneficial for all, because they could have done that quite some time ago. So kind of, you don't need to be psychic to kind of trust that they're not going to suddenly change their way of living to be able to support all. Anyway, so these people who are super focused and fixated on certain things, they really needed hope. And you want to give someone the best hope of all? Money. It's almost like you could have a healthy life and just be averagely, comfortable and live for 100 years, or you could have a massive amounts of money and live for 50 years. I'm sort of guessing that some people would be like B. I'd go for B. I'd live shorter and just, live my fantastic life, and with all that money. And it's so interesting how people respect themselves, respect others, and use money as this veneer of all is good. And we've seen this in so many times where Good or bad actors, for example, get paid, phenomenal amounts of money. And so because they get that pay rate, worship like gods, which is very interesting. So definitely want to explore it, this who may hate you, because ultimately, no one hates you really at a soul level, because we're all brothers and sisters and we love the crap out of each other. So just see where your mind went with it. Did you start panicking, or did you just go, they hate me? Haters gonna hate because I'm freaking fantastic, right? So that would be awesome for you to have had that natural response. So, we've all got inner work, my friends. So don't be shy with it and explore it. And so if on the flip side of that coin, I said to you, oh, I heard a rumor someone loves you, and they told me why, what would be your go-to? What would you be like, so skinny jeans, can't resist them? Like, what is if someone loves you and there's a reason why they love you, what would you think it is? What would you feel like? Everyone says something about me, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so forget about the physical, because, we're all beautiful. But what about like our personalities or our behaviors or our attitudes? Why could someone say that they just love her or him because of their attitudes and behaviors? Because this is something we need to be mindful of, how we're projecting ourselves out to the world. And, sort of take it or leave it. But if you aren't confident in sort of saying this big list of the things of why you're fantastic and why heaps of people, Joe, they love me for everything, I'm amazing. Like, we're needing to build up our confidence and truly mean it, rather than just, I'm a beautiful being. Like, say it, mean it. There's no more time for sort of fake veneer words. You have to love yourself, and part of loving yourself is actually knowing how you are lovable as a human, to be here to support other humans. And so it's amazing times, and it's amazing for us to just check in with ourselves and see things from maybe this new sort of perspective of just, how am I? What would people say? And of course, we really, again, don't care what other people think, right? But this is a nice sort of self-mirror projection check, just to sort of see and feel, like, what would people say about me positively? Why would they just love and adore me? And, really feel into it. And when you can say something about yourself, huge, right? I could talk to quite a few people and ask them what's lovable about them, and they may take quite some time to sort of muster up one word or two words. They may sort of say something really empowering, like, I recycled once, and this one time this man ran across the road and I slowed down for him. Like, we are amazing. So, be honest with yourself. Give yourself jazz hands and joy and claps and gold stars and all that sort of stuff, right? Because, again, why we would love the world to adore us and why we would hate the world to hate us, it's really none of our business still. So what is our business is our own attitudes and the way that we feel about ourselves, and the way we feel confident about who we are and why we are behaving and reacting and connecting with each other. So anyway, food for thought, take it or leave it, free will and all. But just know that you are very important to you, your soul family friends, baby Jesus. I was going to say Yoda. I don't even know if he's real. So whatever's, you're very important and you know it. And so empower yourself and wonder and ask why you are very important. If you're feeling those days of density, remember the 15 minutes meditation of the white light healing is so important to be able to just remember during your daily lives. Who's got 15 minutes? I don't. So that's right. It's exactly how I feel when I'm doing that 15-minute meditation. I relax all tension in my body. Feels good. And I should be doing it more just as a natural conscious awareness, because as soon as I notice my tension in my body, I'm sort of all, I can relax and I sort of slouch a bit, and that's fine. And then the second breath, notice I was also holding tension in my stomach because of my abs. So, all is good, right? So remember consciously how we feel when we super relax, and just release the tension in our physical bodies, and release the emotional tension that we hold in ourselves. And someone is very hot. I'm feeling very hot now, very flustered. I think because people were feeling very triggered at the beginning, because hate is such a strong word, isn't it? Really, it sort of makes us feel like naughty kids, that we've done something. And are we really responsible for other people's emotions and judgment? I don't think we are. But when we are not empowered enough and don't have enough confidence of self, when we hear that some judgmental so-and-so has said that they hate us, well, do we panic? Do we worry? Do we feel guilty that we've done something wrong? It's such an interesting thing to explore. So anyway, my friends, love you. There's so much to talk about. There's other channelings that I've done recently, pretty big, and I just don't even know where to start with having that conversation, how I was interrupted to then have this prompting to do this other stuff. I have heard it in sessions, but I think I just wanted to believe it was kind of like, oh, well, that's a possibility. I'm not going to emotionally get into it. I'm not going to mentally get into it. I'm just going to honor the client through the information and say, trust that, we have to just be prepared for anything. And boy, are we so prepared. And that's awesome, right? We've got this together. We've got this independently. You've got this. So anyway, love you guys so much. Go drink your water, celebrate you, release that tension from your body, release that tension from your mind, and just keep focusing on all of the amazing things and ways how completely lovable and delicious you are. Okay, my friends, bye.